I'd like to call to order the May 24th Long Hill Township Committee meeting at 7:36. So please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Debbie, if you could call the roll, please.
Committeeman Dorsey.
Here.
Committeeman Maringolo.
Here.
Committeeman Pasurcia.
Present.
Deputy Mayor Ray.
Present.
Mayor Schuler.
Here. Liaison reports, starting on my left. Bruce?
The redevelopment committee met with our designated redeveloper, Elite. We had a meeting with the DEP in regards to the project. The discussion revolved around waivers required by the DEP to construct residential in those areas. There are a certain number of hurdles that are going to be required to meet for those waivers from the DEP. And the developer, Elite Properties, is looking into all the issues. You may see some surveying going on because it requires to understand the elevations and things like that. So they're doing the due diligence, and there'll be more to come. There could be higher bars in terms of challenge on the southern side versus the northern side, but all of that should shake out within the next several weeks or so.
Thank you. Anything else?
That's it.
Guy?
Just real quickly, Mayor, I should have given this to you earlier. EMS Week is this week, May 21st to May 27th. The theme is EMS Strong, Always in Service. I know I speak for everybody here. The emergency services, the volunteer emergency services, along with the police department in Long Hill, are second to none, so we thank you publicly. And we even have an example of that on May 6th on a CPR call. The first aid squad and the police department, in fact, saved somebody who would have passed away. So I want to commend everybody for that. And as an example of that, as we speak, first aid squad member Lisa Scanlon and Captain Bob English are right across the way giving yet another CPR class. So anybody who has not trained in CPR, these classes are given once a month. I think there's a nominal charge for them. And I'd strongly encourage everybody who has the time to take this course. Mr. Mayor, back to you.
Matt?
Nothing from me.
Oh, yes. I had a meeting with the Office of the Fire Department on Monday. It went fairly well. We're working on some things. There's a training session they have coming up together. Apparently the VA hospital, they put a new training facility in, so both departments are going to go over there in about a month to do some training over there. We talked about some funding and some other things. As for the DPW, the good news is they spent a lot of time at the lake the last week, so everything will be ready to roll when it opens. What's that? Is Monday the first day or is it Sunday?
Monday, I believe.
Monday. Well, they're ready to roll. They put new doors in the bathroom, cleaned up drained it and cleaned it. We have some pictures here of them doing something or other. I can't know if I can get to them all. But, where are we? And even the other day, actually today, thanks to Chuck Arenowitz, they discovered a leak over by the drainage area, which they're going to fix soon. But at the top picture is Al Gallo and MacGyver fixing a pipe, and the second picture on the bottom is a huge tree. It actually, thing looks like at least 18-inch in diameter that fell near the walkway by the bathroom, which they cleaned up and fixed. So, two other things. One, they delivered 71 loads of mulch already. There's plenty left. So remember, everybody, it's $100. They'll deliver it to your house. They do all deliveries Friday, weather permitting. So please order as much as you want if you live in town. And second, Memorial Day coming up, the DPW in the lobby, they have flag drop off. So if you want to retire an old flag, they have a bin right in the lobby at the DPW. You don't leave it at the Legion on the front steps because nobody's there. So bring it to the DPW. They have a bin, and then they either retire them through, either with the Boy Scouts or through the American Legion of Warren, they have a contact. So remember that, and please, we also have the styrofoam. What else is down there? Appliances, electronics, all recyclable. Bring them down, please. Thank you.
Nothing? Okay. The consent agenda, 17156 through 17163. Anyone have any questions, concerns?
Yeah, I have a question. What exactly is 17161? What's that for? Why are we participating in it?
Jack, if you could.
We have participated in it for the last 3 years, so this is a renewal. In the summary letter from the county, they describe it as follows. If you participate in the Morris County program, you will be eligible to apply to community development for water, sewer, street, recreation, public service, and other projects which benefit low and moderate income persons, eliminate blighted conditions within the community, and/or meet energy community development as defined by HUD. If you do not participate in the county program, your community can compete for community development, small cities, funds administered by the state of New Jersey. However, please note, if you participate in the county program, you will not be able to participate in the state program. So really, it's just allowing us to apply for and receive community development.
From the state?
This allows us to do it from the county. If we
the
don't
county.
participate,
County.
then we have to go through the state
But if we
program.
participate in the county, we can't participate in the state.
That's correct.
So which is the better?
I defer to Guy and others who have participated in the program.
I mean, now that we have COA in front of us and we've got plenty of issues that we can apply for, which is the better program, the state or the county?
You know, I don't remember when we first did this several years back, and I certainly haven't made a comparison between this and
I
the
don't think
state.
we've ever utilized it either.
The problem we have right now is this has to be approved tonight.
Yeah.
And it's a 3-year commitment, so we can't back out in 6 months if we decide we don't want to do it. I guess we've been doing it for 3 years without
Without
any
applying?
issues.
But we've never applied.
Right.
Right.
But I don't think we would have applied for the state
Well,
either, but I don't know that.
but if we do, it's a fair question. Which one?
I agree.
Which one has a better rate of success and offers?
And that's fair, but we're
offers
caught
more
between a
funding?
rock and a hard place.
I
We
understand.
didn't really receive this.
Well, we can have we can do
Discuss it?
we can do a special meeting.
Why did we need to do this tonight?
Because the response is, I got this in my mailbox today. I grabbed it and I gave it
And you did
to
not have a
Jack,
copy,
Yes.
nor did.
this afternoon to review. But
When's
it
the
requires a
deadline?
response June 12th. Our next
Okay.
meeting is June 14th.
And Jack, we can have a special meeting by,
By telephone, correct, as long as it's
I would
less than 10 days
suggest we
notice.
follow the mayor's
Yeah,
advice then.
I mean,
And, you know, I can call this.
let's
whoever I need
find
to
out
call.
and see what we're betting against, I guess.
Yeah, you could have a telephone meeting for the sole
If you
purpose
don't mind,
of-
leave that with me then.
Absolutely. Debbie, did you make copies for everyone in the back, or?
No,
No.
they're in the file.
Oh, in the they're in the packet.
Okay, then I can find it.
But you can have my copy.
Okay.
My copy if you want, if it's easier.
Fair enough.
Do you want to set a date now? That way
You're right.
Debbie can give notice of a special meeting.
Sure. Anyone, what date is good for the special meeting next week?
You could do it at 8 in the morning or whatever, too. It doesn't have to be.
I mean, the other option is also to tell them, listen, we get this the day of, we'll.
Well, to be fair.
They may have a government,
Yeah, it could have been
They
in
may
my
have a
mailbox for a week,
federal government.
honestly. I was
They
out of
sent
town,
it
so.
late. They said, we're sorry, we're sending this late.
Yeah.
I think they just thought we were gonna renew. That's how they were sending it.
And we
They
may,
said renewal.
right? It's just that Bruce's question is.
Well, it's if you're knocking yourself out of the state program, right, and there's, a ton of money at the state. Any suggestions on a date?
I'm around anytime, so.
The date is the deadline is the 12th, correct? Right,
Which
June
is,
12th.
which is what day of the week?
So,
That would be a Monday, right?
that's a Monday.
So
so
what
we're-
about the prior Thursday?
I have election day on Tuesday, so let's not do
Yeah.
it then.
No,
what's the county's deadline to us? Because their deadline's June 12th.
June 12th, correct.
Oh, okay.
we must notify Division of Community Development
Right.
and the U.S. Department of Housing
No
and
later than
Development.
June 12th.
In writing, no later than June 12th,
12th,
which
right.
means we have to mail it the 11th.
We
Well,
have
which
to,
is,
or the county notifies them?
no, we do.
There are several,
So we need mailing time, so we'd have to mail it out on Friday express mail. So if we meet on Thursday for a decision, that would be sufficient, right?
yeah, send it overnight.
So Thursday, the
8th.
8th? Is that correct?
I have to attend an event that morning, 8 to 9:30.
Yeah, I've got a morning event too, so the
Do you
afternoon.
want to do it in the
You
afternoon?
want to
Yeah.
do it in the afternoon,
o'clock?
do it at,
2 o'clock. Yeah, 2 o'clock.
Matt, what do you,
Can you
is
do-
2 o'clock on June 8th, is that okay with you guys?
Day of the week is that?
Thursday.
Thursday.
He's gonna do a
But it's a
phone.
voice call.
I'm probably around, unless I'm physically in a courtroom or something, I can take a call.
Let me see, June.
And Brendan, you said that you're,
That should be fine by me.
So we
yeah.
got at least 3 of you, right? Guy and.
Yeah. Yeah, and
yeah, you only really
I'm
need
available
3.
also.
By then, we'll
so-
have an answer.
Yep.
So we settled on 2 PM, sir?
Yes.
2 PM?
Is that okay?
2 PM, good
Yeah.
with everybody?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll pull 161.
Okay, so we're pulling 17-161 from consent.
There's another one I'd like to ask a question about. It's 17-159, the approving the special event license for the Long Hill Township Little League.
Yep.
And it just seems that there are a lot of, I guess, well, it's tournament events, and
This one, though, which number is this one again? Okay.
it's
the-
17-159.
This is the one with the,
Right.
this is the one with 13 events.
Correct.
And I'm just wondering about,
I mean, my concern with this was the police coverage
Yep.
required.
Yep.
Has
There's
the
no
chief,
police required. There's no police required. We don't,
Well, there's police coverage required, they're just not responsible for paying for it, so
Well,
really, it's a
but they're
police.
not, the
Oh, okay.
last, because the police gave a last thing and they're not requiring any barricades.
Right.
I
And
thought
the
the chief-
interesting thing here, and that's, I think that's what Brendan's getting at, because they did in fact contact the Little League, and I had the police, the Little League contacted the police, and they also contacted Lisa Scanlon somehow, the recreation director, which ended up landing on my desk, so I spoke with the chief today. And his comment to me was, it's one thing to provide for, say, the parade at the beginning of the year and the special day, which is Championship Day, which has the fireworks. And the township has always done that, and the ordinance permits that. The problem I think we run into is the ordinance isn't specific to number. So you have those two events, plus, Cornell, you told me 13 more?
well, this
13 tournaments?
this ordinance has this resolution has 13.
So
But,
the chief, it's at the chief's discretion, I believe, as
Correct.
to whether traffic control, et cetera, is necessary. And we don't know the magnitude of, or the size of these tournaments. But if the chief were to say these tournaments do require a police presence, the way it's set up now per ordinance, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jack, police presence is provided, and then overtime is paid for by the township.
That's correct. As
Is
long-
that appropriate? Is that what we want? That's the question.
Well-
The one caveat is all of the proceeds, less administrative costs have to be paid to the Little League for all these tournaments.
And we don't know the answer to that either.
so I'm not sure we know whether or not there's even an issue to debate about this with the police coverage, because
I got
I'm
the
hearing
okay
from
from
Debbie
the
that
police, and I
the
got the
police
okay
said
from Lisa, that they had but there
that
was,
there is no
email trail.
requirement
When did you,
for-
when did you speak with them? Because I was earlier.
we
in the
just
day.
got them, this morning, I think I confirmed with them, that, chief called me, I think. Was he in when we were there?
Right, when I wasn't here, when he arrived, but then he called me subsequent to that.
So can,
I mean,
could I suggest this? We modify the resolution to approve the first two, May and June,
yep,
and confirm with the
Confirm
chief
And does that give us enough, when's the next one after the June one?
July.
Fine, so we
Till
can
15th.
revisit it June
And,
14th.
and let's confirm with the chief
Yep.
that he's made a determination that there's no police required
for all the others.
for safety reasons. Completely,
that's
completely
perfect.
absent any financial decision
Right,
or implications
Yep.
that will figure out afterwards if it becomes a problem.
Right. That's good.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're modifying Resolution 17-159 to approve only the dates May 27th and June 23rd through the 25th at this time, pending a response from the chief for police coverage, and we'll put those other dates into a separate resolution. Dennis?
July 23rd is also on this list. It's also the bike race. It's going to be a very busy day in town.
Okay. Thank you. Any other,
Did we get a
Question.
motion for the consent?
well, hang on.
Motion,
Did anybody have any other questions about any of the other resolutions? I had one comment about 17-163, the agreement with IDT Energy. That is the electricity supplier that we sign everyone in the town up for, and the renegotiation here is to actually drop the rate from its current rate, because for the summer months, JCP&L's rate actually dips a little bit, and in order to stay within the scope of the contract, IDT needs to stay below
Yeah.
JCP&L. So you'll see a slight, good news, slight dip in your rate. And surprising that we actually have to formally approve that, but we do.
And it's as complicated as all get up. Just try to read through it.
All right, can I get a motion, please?
Move 17, consent agenda 17-156 through 17-163 minus resolution 17-161, and the note to the modification to resolution 17-159.
Second.
Committeeman Dorsey?
Yes.
Committeeman Maringolo?
Yes.
Committeeman Pasortia?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Ray?
Yes.
Mayor Schuler?
Yes. The next one is a resolution correction for the last meeting, Resolution 17-151, resolution allowing Verizon to place 2 small network nodes on utility poles in the right-of-way of New Vernon Road. We incorrectly stated that the poles were owned by JCP&L, where in fact they are owned by Verizon. So this correction modifies that.
So moved.
Second.
Committeeman Dorsey?
Yes.
Committeeman Maringolo?
Yes.
Committeeman Pasortia?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Ray?
Yes.
Mayor Schuler?
Yes. Discussion action items, Facebook, Twitter, Township accounts.
Oh, I actually asked.
So
to put
you
this
brought
on.
that on.
To show you how ignorant I am, I didn't even know we had a Facebook or Twitter account. So it's one step, that cut off half my questions.
I agree.
I don't go on Facebook too often, but I know from talking to people in town and my wife informing me of different things going on, is that a lot of people in town get their news on there about stuff we're doing or the town's doing for good or bad. There's good information on there, some bad information on there. I just don't know how active we are, or as a township, in using those accounts to put information out there. I know we put a lot of stuff on the website, but I think more people use social media than come to the town website. I mean, I can't track that, but I just...
So historically, we're not, and I think that, and this is certainly something to be revisited, but that was by design. We wanted to keep the Facebook and the Twitter announcements to things of importance, right? So something like Valley Road paving, right, would have, the whole project, that would have been on there. I think it originated during Superstorm Sandy, was originally, I think, how we set that page up. We can certainly use that to more actively communicate. The big question is who will manage that?
Not me.
Some.
Well, I don't even have Twitter.
And therein lies the issue. I think Cornell's right. It's kind of like the proverbial going down the rabbit hole. You do this. We have our citizens alert system. We have our town website. We have our Stellar local newspaper. And I agree with Matt, a lot of information's out there, but I went on Facebook a week ago because there was Matt, I think that's where this started.
Yeah.
And I started reading it, and it corrected itself. You know, there was somebody that was making inaccurate claims, and then there was some responses from other residents, and actually former residents, and it ended up correcting itself. I don't know that we want to interject ourselves into that kind of dialogue.
Not into that dialogue, but I'm saying that was on like the buy, sell, recycle Long Hill page. I'm talking about more along the lines of, for example, the lake opens Monday. You want to post on the Facebook page, hey everybody, lake opens Monday, there's a barbecue or whatever, or even on the Twitter account, lake opens Monday. Like even positive things like that, or like I remember we put the bid, the PDF, the sewer bid. You put that on the Facebook page too.
Yep.
Or like if you're going to put it on the website, put it on the Facebook page too.
I hear you, but I don't want to undermine the whole purpose of the Citizens Alert, how that was.
Oh, no.
Well, the Citizens Alert is separate,
Yeah, I
right?
know.
That's, you know,
No.
so, you know, dilution is always a concern in some of these social media platforms. That if
Right.
you start spitting too much stuff out, people are just gonna start ignoring your
Yes.
posts. Except if you're Trump and they read every single one of them.
And I tweeted, Ray, I'll
but-
do it.
But if we go down that route, someone needs to be tasked with being responsible for posting that content, for approving that content.
I recommend the administrator, or the person acting as the administrator.
If we're gonna post, for example, if we're gonna post something on the town website, why don't you just post the same thing on the Facebook page anyway, because it's gonna be, you want that out anyway.
With a link too.
Yeah.
And that could be a policy. We have, you know, we have our, starting this year, our township committee meetings are up on YouTube. Don't know if you knew about that.
Do not.
So, and that's an experiment, so it's, and so far, so good. You can view them on the website, you can download them from the website, but you can also, there's also a YouTube channel.
You know
can
what?
make money from those-
Kathy
from the
just
views.
said, TAC is meeting tomorrow night, right?
Yep.
Can they discuss this? And because we may,
Yeah, we absolutely, I mean, this is where it was
in
discussed before.
theory, this sounds
and-
wonderful,
and
but something's
the
troubling me about
concern
this.
Yeah, you're gonna
was,
have to do it.
the
That's what's
concern
troubling.
was,
Well, besides that,
the concern was who does this, right? Right now with the website, there's a group of people in town hall that send an email with the content to our person running the website, and they put it up, and they set it up, and they format it, and they, you know, create the links and make it look good. Right? Now, who's gonna do that for Facebook? Do we,
Did the same group do it?
Yeah, well,
I don't know if
Most
they,
web companies,
yeah, you could have
Do it
somebody
all
else
now.
do it,
we can ask that.
you know? I mean, in
There's a-
that
there's a-
email,
there's
just
a
add
cost with
another
that.
contact, and the information goes out to the Facebook management team, and
Do, you know, do we, you know, how do we initiate, what are you waving there, Dennis?
No, I'm just reminding you that
The TV?
that's another medium.
Yeah, the television, correct.
Hmm?
The TV, yeah,
You haven't even mentioned that we have the
live TV.
news on the television station 24 hours a day.
Right.
You don't even have to turn on your computer.
the bulletin board, yeah.
We're actually looking also at streaming options,
Oh, like they have, like community.
to do live streaming for, you know, people that don't want to, because there's a growing number of people that don't actually subscribe to cable television anymore, so they don't get
We don't fight.
they don't get to watch us anymore, so we've got to
losing
get them
viewers.
back. But I'll bring it up at the CAC meeting
Alright,
tomorrow,
thank you.
and we will recommend a approach,
Okay.
Good.
and we'll have Guy do it all. Old business. New business.
hold on one second there, cowboy. Valley Road. The county has received a lot of complaints from residents. We have received a lot of complaints from residents. I have discussed this at length with both Tom Sweeney and Paul Ferrara. Both of them said projects of this magnitude, what's being done out there is correct. It's basically par for the course. However, I did speak with Chris Fitz and Dean O'Leary up at the county, and they said they had received calls directly from residents. So They're going to try to double up on some of the inspectors that are coming out just to make sure that it's as good as it can be. You know, just to reiterate, what this is a $2.5 million project from NJ American Water. When they're done, sometime in the summer, the county's gonna come in. They were deliberately vague, not because they're trying to avoid anything. They have to wait until NJ American is done, and then they cannot come in immediately because the road must settle. The good news is that typically takes 5 or 6 months. It will take less out here because it's a heavily traveled road, especially with trucks. It'll settle quickly, more quickly, not quickly. So they're hoping that they can come in, what are we talking, end of May, June, July, August, maybe the end of August. So we're all gonna have to be patient. All in, that's a $4.5 million project out there, maybe a $4 million project, so we're gonna have to be patient. Now, there's also the road, and this is going to apply to Dennis, Passaic Avenue. NJ American Water is going to do that as well, but we advise them that that road must be completed, Tom Sweeney advised them, in time for the town to pave it because of the bike race, July 23rd, right? Bike race is July 23rd?
July 23rd.
Okay.
And Somerset Street, not Passaic.
No, okay. Passaic is involved in this, I think.
Passaic is, it's a patch job, and Somerset is the one they tore up end to end in front of the firehouse to put water main in last summer.
Right, but I think we're waiting until Passaic is done to do both.
Oh, well, that would be.
So,
Thank you.
That's
So,
my update.
so, you know, an interesting comment about that, right? We've,
that's what we said.
I mean, we've been receiving the complaints, and we've been experiencing the road since they were done with the first run, right? And we've been mentioning it back to the contractor. And I can't help but feeling like the stuff that they're digging up and patching up, again, because they're making another pass now, right?
Which road are we talking about?
Valid.
Right.
That the areas that they're now digging up again to do their second round of work and patching, like that patchwork is actually worse than the first time around.
Well, here's the thing,
It's
and I'm not...
it's almost like, you know, you shouldn't have complained.
No. No, but what happens, what happens...
I mean, it's a
I'm
horrible
actually-
spot.
For the, you're gonna have to double my salary. What am I getting now? 0?
Nothing.
Okay. All right.
You'll pay, now you can pay us.
Now we'll pay you. The way it works is they went and did from Passaic to
Yep.
Mountain. Then they had to go back to Passaic and start all the laterals. In the interim, what you said, even on temporary jobs, the road starts settling. So they have to go back where it starts, you know, concave or whatever. They have to do, this is a
No, I know,
constant monitoring.
I'm talking about the places where they've gone back, they've dug up again to do the lateral, and then they've patched it. That patch is worse than the first time around.
Okay, well, then that's why we have contacted the county, and they're going to double up on their inspectors.
So, the other question I had, and this is probably for Tom, or maybe you can inquire with the county. Tom has always referred to waiting on paving a road as to not to wait too long because you'll lose the base. Right, that's always the terminology, the underlayer, right? They've effectively dug up the base on here, but I didn't see any work done to redo a base. I just saw dirt go in and asphalt go on top a little deeper than normal.
Here's the thing.
It
Understand the chronology here. That road was going to be done by the county.
Understood.
Without NJ American. My point being, that road was shot. Any contractor, in this case it's NJ American Water, they're not putting any more money into the patch job other than the minimum they have to do because
Understood.
it's already being done by the county.
My question is, though, when county comes in to do the milling and paving, there's gonna be that section that was dug up that no longer has a base
Okay, I'll have,
because they went 4 feet down and went through the base. And Tom has always been concerned about losing the base. I'd like to know how that is handled.
fair question, and I will call Tom,
And that
and
it's
I'm sure
being,
Tom will
and that it's
progress.
being handled properly.
I have to believe they know what they're doing, but it's worth pointing out.
Yes. I'm just concerned that county doesn't expect the water company to do it, the water company expects county to do it, and then it never gets done.
Fair question.
Thank you. Any other new business questions? Okay, announcements. Memorial Day Parade, Monday, May 29th. The parade starts at 9:30 a.m. It will begin at the corner of Mercer Street and Main Avenue, and will proceed north up Main Avenue, concluding at Central School for a brief cemetery. Following the parade,
Brief cemetery.
brief ceremony, my apologies. It's been a long day. Brief ceremony. Thank you. That was bad. Following the ceremony, all are cordially invited back to the Sterling Fire Department on Somerset Street from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. for hot dogs and drinks. And then following that, at the Sterling Lake, there will be an open house from 1:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. All Long Hill residents are invited to join us at the lake for an afternoon of picnicking and swimming. No permit or registration fees required, and yours truly will be cooking up some hot dogs with the assistance of someone who hopefully will not light the place on fire. Guy. And with that, open the meeting to comments from the public on any matter.
Well, good evening, Mayor and Committee. Rob Walton, Jersey Central Power and Light. Just a few quick things to update the committee on. We are doing some tree trimming out of the Sterling substation starting in June. So as always, if anyone has any complaints or concerns, let us know. If someone has a tree that they feel is a threat to the power lines, they want us to cut down as opposed to trim, we're happy to do so. Just let us know.
Could you guys take about 10 feet from the road, from Maine all the way to the substation?
We can't do that, no, sorry. No.
Do you have the number for people to call, or is it on the website, or how do they let you know?
We notify the neighbors when we're coming to do tree trimming.
Okay.
We leave a door hanger, so they should contact the number they're given. Usually it's the contractor.
Okay.
And if they want a tree taken down instead of trimmed, by all means, let them know.
Okay.
And if they want to pass it along
Okay,
to the
so
governing body,
they'll get
contact
all the
me.
contact information if they
Correct.
want something special done, they just.
Correct,
speak to
yes.
us. Okay, thank you.
For our capital budget for 2017 is a robust $359 million. That's $100 million more than it was in 15 and 14, so we're still making that necessary investment in our infrastructure. And last but not least, we are now offering LED lights for our street lights. So if the township is interested in looking at converting some of their lights from sodium vapor to LED lights, we're happy to look at that as well.
Can we see some examples?
We're waiting for a town to jump in and bite the bullet and be the guinea pig, so to speak.
Is there a
we
cost
don't
to
yet-
that?
The cost to convert is free.
Oh, okay.
The rates are different for the LED lights and the sodium vapor. For a 50-watt equivalent, the rate is a little bit higher, but for the 100-watt and 150-watt equivalent, the rates are lower. So depending on the neighborhood, you could save some money. It might cost you a few pennies more, but if you're concerned about your carbon footprint, obviously the LED lights are better. We don't yet have any installations for people to look at.
So what happens if somebody calls in and says the bulb's out? Would you replace that
We
with an
replace
LED?
with the sodium vapor
Okay.
still.
So you need authorization from this committee.
Correct. The township would have to ask us to convert lights from sodium vapor to LED.
Would we have to say?
No, we actually recommend picking a neighborhood of, we have a minimum of 12. So you have to have no fewer than 12 lights to switch. We recommend that you folks pick a neighborhood somewhere because it does look different. The lights are whiter, they're a little brighter, but they're also directional. They don't spread out as much. So they don't shine into a person's window, they illuminate the street. That's the plus side. The downside of that is if you have two street lights, say 50 feet apart, the sodium vapor cascades light that might cover that entire street. The LED lights cast the light straight down, so you might have a gap between two street lights where before there was some illumination, now there's not. So it's a different light.
These are the lights, I think I've seen them as you drive down 95 towards DC. There's a couple of sections where they have those, so I know what you're talking about.
Yep.
What, is there a buyer's remorse kind of thing? If we do it and we realize, ooh, this isn't gonna work for us, will you switch them back out?
We would, but we'd likely charge the fee to put the sodium vapor in. Because the sodium vapor lights, there's a fee to install sodium vapor lights, and there's the monthly charge.
I was going to say, are there different configurations? Because you're talking about the lights that are basically on the poles.
Correct.
Shine down.
Correct.
Versus the lights in my particular street are lamppost kind of lights.
If those are JCP&L Colonial lampposts, we also have a fixture that is LED that can go on those.
I think former Mayor Bruce Marengo just volunteered
Yeah, do it in his neighborhood.
motion to put it on Sherwood Lane.
Well, I mean, I'd be concerned because on my side of the block, there's not that many lampposts, but on the other side, there's quite a few. So if it's brighter, you're,
Well, bear in mind,
you know.
a 50-watt bulb, that's the usage. When we say watts, it would be equivalent lumens. Lumens is the measure of its lightness. But it's a different color light. It's a whiter light. So it's just a different flavor of light.
So how many lumens are we talking about here?
Equivalent lumen to the 50-watt bulb. So if we it would not be a 50-watt usage, it'd be the equivalent lighting of a 50-watt bulb.
So
It would probably be 13
400
watts.
450 lumens?
It's in our lighting handbook. I don't know the exact numbers of lumens per
What's the
wattage.
lumens for the existing vapor?
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
So-
Sorry.
So the new LEDs at 13 watts versus 50.
Correct. So you have a decrease in usage, which is reflected in the rate.
But the rate is higher.
The rate is slightly higher, but there's no fee to install it.
Is there any way, I mean, you haven't, I don't know, if you put a common light, have you ever compared ones you've tested as, like, say the light's on 10 hours a day, one to the other with the rates? It's vapor light versus the LED?
Well, your rate is a monthly rate. Regardless, we don't meter these lights.
No, okay, so,
Right,
So
so you could tell us how much different it would be?
Oh, so.
Oh, okay, so it's not a usage.
Okay, so the
the street lights are not metered. The rate is presuming an average use, which is why they're a little more expensive in the winter because winter nights are longer. So the lights are on longer, and it's a little cheaper in the summer. And the rate for the sodium vapor was just for your monthly fee. Did not include the installation of the light, which was several $100s to have a crew come out, put in the bracket, put in the bulb, and then your monthly fee covered replacing that bulb. The LED lights, the rate is just for the monthly usage. There's no fee for the bracket, there's no fee for the bulb, there's
But
no
how
fee for the
much,
head.
but what's the general?
It's 10, 20 cents more per month for the LED and the 50-watt equivalent lumens. When you get to the 100 to 150, the price is $1 or so less per month per light.
So it would actually cost us more from a township
Nominally.
to go with
Nominally,
LED,
Depending upon
even though it's
the
saving you
wattage.
electricity.
But it also, there's other costs that are included in that rate that make the expense an apples to apples for us, which is why the rate is a little bit more. And again, these rates, we don't get to pick our rates. We have the BPU.
No, I understand.
ensures-
that.
So
And I have a question, though. LED lights have a longer lifespan, I would think.
Correct.
And let's step back to what I think I heard you say. If a light bulb goes out, one of those vapor guys, and you come out, there's a cost to the town.
no,
Oh, there's no cost to the town to
Switch 'em
replace the
out.
but
bulb?
there's
If we switch
If
them,
we voluntarily switch them out, there's a cost.
buyer's remorse, then we
if
have
you
to pay to
if you
have them
switch
go back.
back,
Oh, okay.
Right.
But if we
So
if
what-
we go to LED, it's going to cost the taxpayer more.
Only for the
Nominally,
50s.
20 cents a
The
month.
hundreds are cheaper.
Yeah, but 100. Well, I guess we can't really. If we don't know the lumens, we can't really compare.
what we suggest, and this are all very good questions, is if there's a neighborhood that you think might be worthwhile to look at for LED lights, we sit down with a member of the township committee and someone from the administration, and we can tell you what the wattage of those lights in that neighborhood are. We can tell you what the current fee would be that you're paying for those lights, and then tell you what the savings would be, if any, if you convert it to LEDs. And then when you install them, you can look and see if it's something that you like.
Well, all right, before he sticks me, Bruce learned a new word tonight, lumens. He's going to keep saying it. So he's now the committee member that's on it, and he's about to stick me, because you said administration, you're going to make it be me, so you're now on the committee.
Well, there's there's only one pole in Deer Path, so I think we volunteer that street.
The big thing I think you're going to find about the LEDs is the color. It's
You're gonna get used
it's a
to it.
whitish, bluish. It's not like that orange sun
Well,
tint.
what I'm afraid of is what happened on Main a couple of years ago when they replaced all the street lights. All of a sudden,
Using people, well, we cut down all the trees, too.
it was way brighter than the previous street lights.
And the trees were gone.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not that concerned about the color. I'm concerned about the brightness and the cost. to the taxpayer.
Although in theory, this sounds like the kind of lights that are now on Cantor.
The
Cantor
brightness,
Park.
the lumen should be the same, right? Because it's a 50-watt
So
equivalent, so
it
it
should
should
be
be about the
probably
same.
less into the people's windows.
Well, that's
Yeah,
the
oh,
major,
yes,
that's the major
definitely.
benefit, is that
Yeah.
you don't have the light shining into people's windows anymore because it
There's-
goes straight
yeah.
down, is not broadcast out.
It-
That's also a
it-
detriment because if you have lights that are far apart, they're not going to cover that spot in the middle.
And 12, you need 12.
We ask for 12 as a minimum, yes.
Well, I
Is
mean,
there a way just to do a
Yeah, I mean, I can look at a
one
couple of-
sample?
I could look at a couple and see what we can come up with.
Yeah, but
and-
you want 12, that's the problem.
Yeah, no, we can figure
Time
that
we're
out.
looking for 12. We're discussing finding a spot where we can put up a few. We do have one township that is in my district that has decided they want to move forward with it. If they do follow through and we install it, we'll certainly let folks know where that
Yeah.
is.
How many do you have on Whitebridge, do you know?
How many streetlights?
Yeah,
I don't know off the top of my head. I could certainly find out for you if you like.
because Whitebridge might be a good test, because a lot of those properties are vacant, or, you know, sorry if anybody's watching from Whitebridge, but if we were going to go down that road, right?
I'm willing to look at it and talk with you about it and see what we can do.
Okay.
But make sure when you come back and we sit down and talk about it, you know the lumens.
Yes, I will know the lumens. I will know how much the sodium vapor lumens are and the LED lumens are, absolutely.
You just can't ask an intelligent question anymore.
And if there's nothing else, that's all that I have.
Before you,
There you go.
it's okay.
Oh, do you happen to know the status of the streetlights on Mountain Avenue over there by the train tracks?
I know we installed one and upgraded the light bulb.
Oh, you did?
Yes, I believe I'm not sure if the others got done, but I know they're in our schedule to get done.
All right, so it's something that's on the schedule to do.
Correct. We
All right,
added
great.
one light to a pole that did not have a light, and we upgraded bulbs on, I think, 4 out of the 5 or 5 out of the 6. There's one light that was in front of a home with no trees to obstruct the light from shining in the people's window. That one, Mr. Henry and I decided not to upgrade.
But if we put an LED
That
on
might be a
that,
good candidate for the LED.
That could be a good candidate for LED. And again, the LED, there's no charge to install LEDs on existing lights.
Thank you.
Are we supposed to get back to you regarding the possibility of a charging station, electric? Or is this
Yes.
something do we have, are you waiting on a response from us?
Yes,
Because this committee has already discussed it, and I think we said, sure.
wonderful.
When do we get it?
There's a contract that we need the township to sign, an agreement, and the township would have to procure a contractor to do the work. We would pay the bill, but we'd prefer that the township has someone with whom they're familiar or does work around the building on a regular basis. They would do the actual work of installing the charging station, and then we would pay for it. We'd pay for the maintenance for 2 years, and after that, the maintenance of the township. The charging station, if I recall, comes with a means by which you can charge people to charge their vehicle there, so you can get some revenue from it. I don't think there's the volume of use that it would recoup its costs anytime soon. We would need some sort of a,
And we have to give you a location, and we kind of spitballed it saying someplace here. And-
Correct.
And you had to approve it, but I think that makes sense, because we have the library, we have the town hall, we have ball fields.
so does the power for the charging station come out of the town hall, or does it come out of the line on the street?
it was out of town hall.
Hence why we might want to charge.
So we're paying electric.
You're paying the electric, we're paying for the capital improvement or the capital upgrade to provide the
Right.
piece of equipment.
Right.
And if electric cars take off, then you have a metered charging station that you can charge, like you would charge for a parking meter, and you could charge for whatever the electricity use was.
Are there any electric cars at the train stations?
And this
No,
is
none
something,
that I've
there's only
seen.
3 or 4 or 5, whatever you're doing across the state. So this is a test that you guys are doing. So
Correct.
you recognize it may not be, we don't know how successful it will be.
Correct. One of the things that does happen, and it's not necessarily a bad thing for the people of Long Hill, is people who are traveling long distances will know where the charging stations are. There are websites that map these things. And if they're traveling across country or traveling long distances, they might target the Long Hill charging station. So they'll plug in their car here. While it's charged, they'll go to Panera or whatever's in the mall next door, eat and drink, give a little business to the local economy, and then come and pick up their car and be on their way.
Okay.
It's far likely, that's more likely the use than, say, a local resident who's going to the library and then go driving back home. They're likely, that would be a short trip, and their car would have been charged sufficiently at home.
Can it be on private property, or does it have to be on a township?
Can be, but it has to be public access, so it can be on a, I suppose, in a shopping center.
Well, I'm thinking like in front of Starbucks or Panera or Dunkin' Donuts would be more useful than here.
Or even inside by
Of
Joseph.
course, you
I
gotta
believe
get
it.
the,
Well,
you gotta
I'll
get the
confirm
owner's
that.
approval,
Yeah, I
obviously,
see,
right?
Joseph A.
But-
Banks would be almost perfect.
Yeah.
Because nobody usually uses those spots.
Right.
But we would have to ask the owner, of course. But he might like it because it's
You're-
added visibility. So we need to get back to you regarding the location.
Correct.
And was it one or?
I believe it's just the one.
Yeah, it's one station with parking spots on either side of it. So
Oh, so-
two cars could charge at the same time.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah, you wouldn't want it at the train lot, because what'll happen is the car will sit there all day
Yeah.
long, and nobody else
Take
can
up the
charge.
spot.
Yeah.
They'll
Right.
take up the spot and leave the car there, and then you really serve no purpose other
Well, I
than.
mean, I could call the Valley
Right.
Mall guy and see if Croman wants to
Again,
go
you would
there.
have to go out and see the location we're suggesting.
Correct.
And then would it be up to
And
the mall owner to charge or not charge?
No, it would-
Because presumably the electricity
It would
be
still be,
coming from-
would it be their electricity or ours at that point?
That would be a decision between you and the private owner, if that's where you wish to put it. Our offer was to put it here at the municipal building,
Okay.
and it would just be part of the municipal bill. But if you would rather it go at a private location, retail location, and then that retail establishment wishes to provide the electricity, we might consider that. I'm not sure if our program is looking to provide these to private businesses, more so to public entities, but we can certainly look at that. And if it was to be put at a private location, it's possible to provide secondary service to that location, meter it, and then it just go as part of the township's bill.
Okay.
So that's another alternative if you wish to put it somewhere else.
Okay. So we need to noodle.
Yeah.
Well, but following up on what you just said, if it were, as was suggested as a possibility, Valley Mall, and if they charged an appropriate rate for how much it would, so the benefit remains visibility, and there's no cost because they're charging for the use of the station. Now, granted, after 2 years, the maintenance contract is up, and then it becomes the owner's responsibility.
Correct.
I suppose we can say the town will pay for the maintenance, but this is
Again,
something we have to get back
yeah,
to.
And I need to check to make sure that we would be okay with putting it at a private
Right.
retail establishment, as
Fair
opposed to
enough.
putting it
Yeah,
at a public
yeah.
facility.
That could stop it right there. No, we won't.
Yeah.
And we don't want to, I mean, if there's only 3 or 4 or 5 of these going on throughout your whole service area, we want to be one of the 4, right? I mean, I would think.
Yeah, but you want to put it in a useful place, not,
Right.
I mean, but there's something to be said. You put it in the back by the ball fields, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that somebody's
definitely,
going to go play sports or something, or the Little League field,
We're right
or
here.
right behind here, yeah.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Have a good night.
Thanks.
Thank
Rob.
you. Have a good trip home.
Mr. Sandow?
Couple points of calibration. There is a charging station in town, you know.
Where? No, I don't know
I
where.
had no idea. Where?
Long Hill Auto. Bobby put a charging station in a couple months ago. You should talk with him and get some calibration as to use, costs, arrangements. It's out front, and as you know, his out front parking is pretty tenuous, but it's
air
there.
hose?
Huh?
By the air hose?
No, it's on the other side of the doors of the air hose. It's over by Cargs, on the Cargs side of it.
Oh, okay.
But it is in the front, and I don't know how much he advertises it, but it's there. And I saw it, and I didn't lick it to see if it was working. I haven't asked him about it, but you might want to ask him if you're going to start this inquiry. With regard to LED lights, the senior center had a couple of its parking lot lights out. We always seem to have a few out, and when we get more than 3, we call an electrician. This guy came in and said, as usual, the ballasts need to be replaced. And by the time we open it up, clean out the squirrel nests and the rat's nests and the mouse nests, pull out the ballast, replace it, possibly replace the bulb at the same time, because the bulb has been going for so long, it's probably on its last legs anyway. It'd be cost you just about the same for us to rip all those guts out and put in LED. And we did. It cost about $200 per lamp post to replace the sodium vapor with LEDs. You'll want to drive to the senior center some night and look for the 3 lights, which are the very brightest, whitest. 2 of them are on the schoolhouse side and one's back by the dumpster. I'll give you an idea. Those are standalone standards with the colonial fixture on the top, unlike the street fixtures where the colonial fixture is on a little arm that comes out from the pole. I don't sense the directionality that he's talking about. These lights, at least whatever it was that the electrician installed when he replaced the guts, they seem to have the nice uniform pattern that we are accustomed to in a parking lot. Straight down, yeah, it protects the neighbors, but you can do that with black paint on the back of the light bulb. Straight down gives you a bunch of little well-lit islands, which is probably more appropriate for a Broadway play than street lighting. I was about to suggest that you might want, if you were looking for a dozen street lights, that's just about the Skyline neighborhood. But the street lights are so far apart, they're about 3 poles apart on Skyline Drive. And that's, if those become little spotlights shining straight down as opposed to the little bit of broadness that we have now, you may want to consider whether or not a straight down bulb is the right thing, or whether you'd want something that disperses the light a little bit more. And also, don't worry about lumens, Mr. Pasurcha.
No, that was Bruce.
You were the one that insisted he come back with lumens.
No, Bruce did.
No.
I was teasing.
Because the lumens, of course, only apply to where you hold the meter. And if you hold the meter up close, you're going to get one reading, and if you hold it down here, you're going to get another reading, and if you hold it out here, it depends on how your lenses and bulbs are built. So you're really talking about hiring the town engineer to go out there and do it properly and get an average reading across the entire surface area, which is the way we do it in the planning board. Final thing I'd like to mention is that there will be a bike race. Been having a little bit of a sponsorship problem the past few years. We had a serious discussion with the bike shop owner, and he went out and he landed a brand new principal sponsor with enormous amounts of funding. And so we will be back up to our level that we were at in the big sponsorship days before 2008.
Did you want to mention the sponsor?
No, I don't, not at this point. But we will be in a position to give big donations to the service organizations, bigger than we have seen in the past. Well, since about 2008 was the last time we had peak donations. So it was sort of touch and go for a while as to whether or not it was appropriate to continue with the declining sponsorship, but we're back for another 27-year cycle.
Which son?
Always.
Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you, Dennis.
I'm trying to keep the meeting to more than an hour.
We could let Guy talk again.
Did you just go like that?
And with that, anyone care to adjourn?
Motion adjourned.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Meeting adjourned.